Okay, so how I draw hands. Some of you guys have already seen kind of how I do it. I did post like a tutorial thing on Instagram a little while ago. But with Sonic's hands, typically I do a rough and quick sketch. So here, let me. How's the hardness of my? Okay, so we're at 13. Why are you not drawing? I'm on eraser. All right. Now I'm at 4. Somebody came into my room. All right, I go. We'll go to 10. Go to. All right. So when you're looking at, all right, so prefacing how to draw hands. Okay. Specifically Sonic hands. When you look at your hand, if you look at your hand here, I'll get right in front of the camera. If you notice how your hand works, and always use your hand as a reference. Always use your hand as a reference. You got a flat plane that always stays flat that's connected to your wrist. You can go up, down, left, right. You just have a flat plane right on the top of your hand. The only thing that moves is those fingers. And when you look, when you're doing Sonic hands, there's only 2 parts of that finger. You don't need to worry about how there are 3 separate. Depending on how you want to do your art, you can do that, but you don't have to. Typically when you're doing like really super stylized Sonic art, it's just that 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So what I do is I always draw out the plane first. And then, so you got the top of his, okay, say I'm doing, what would it be? Is his right hand. Say the top of what you're doing is right hand. So you want to sketch out the top of his hand. And you got that flat plane right there. Then I typically draw in it kind of like I draw in his glove to kind of really place where that wrist is at. And then you've also got this section right here, which is where the thumb would go. So then you've got room for those 4 hands or those 4 fingers. So what you want to do is you're taking perspective into account too. And anybody who follows me knows that I love my perspective. So what you got is to see how my hand's facing you. Here, let's see if I can do that right hand. I'm doing it wrong. How do I do this? Okay, so you've got that. There we go. You've got that right hand. And so the way I'm drawing it is kind of like at an angle like this. So for that thumb, typically what I'll do is I'll use a little bit of foreshadowing. That's not what I wanted. I'll do a bit of that foreshadowing. Get that thumb in there. Then you're drawing your extensions out like that. And typically what I'll do is I'll kind of draw a little bit of that knuckle in there. And then I'll draw that first finger. And depending on how you're looking at that camera, depending on how the camera's looking at the hand, is whether or not I'll draw like a little in there. See how it kind of makes it look like the hand upturns? So I'll draw that in, and then I'll bring that down there. And then I'll just do the same for that. And then with perspective, you've got your fingers. You got a little bit of overlap between that middle and that index finger. And then a little bit later. And remember, you're always keeping on that flat plane. So you've got a finger that's going one of two ways. And then you've got your rough sketch done. Just like that. And then you just go in and you add your detail. Kind of like that. So for like, I would probably, honestly, I'd add a little bit of a bow to that finger right there. That way it doesn't look completely janky. So you've got that. And that thumb's like really the only thing that's kind of sticking out. Appreciate it, Justin. So for like fists and whatnot, typically, like if you want like everybody's got that picture of Supersonic that's got his fists out like this. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. So you've got, you rough out how you want that fist to look, right? See how I got the base, like the folds of his glove wrapped up? Remember, those hands only do one of two things. So you go up, you go in. Go up, go in. Go up, go in, go up. You try to add a little bit of dimension to that. And then for this last one, you let that finger come down a little bit. And then you add that rest of that hand where that palm outstretches right here. You do that. And then you just kind of add in those knuckles. And add in a little bit of that other palm. And then boom, you've got a fist. Knuckles. Ah. That's how you draw Knuckles' hands. But no. I like to draw hands in super interesting ways. So typically, if you see me drawing, I've always got like some sort of like bow out. So I usually kind of start with like this little like small triangle. And then that allows me to create this perspective of a finger. Kind of like that. And then you can add your details for like the palm and whatnot. Like that little crease that's right up there, and then your little palm butt. Oh no. Like I said, Sonic characters' hands are really easy because you can draw them pretty loosely and have them still look good. Like, it's literally just it's that simple, guys. There. Not what I wanted. Okay. And then you want to do like yeah, exactly. You see, their fingers are really thick. So you've got like 3 fingers down. if you want to do the classic that's another thing too, as I should probably point out. Boom. Is a lot of hands. A lot of hands, you do this thing, and it's something. If you don't know who he is, his name's Ethan Becker, and I learned quite a few bits of info off of his videos. Is that typically when people draw hands, you've got here, I'll start out with mine. You've got 3, and then you've got 1. And so when you draw fingers, I'll draw that thumb back in there so it looks believable. And like that. And honestly, guys, hands aren't as important as what people make them out to be. You can do something simple like this in your art, and people aren't going to look at your hands unless they're super analyzing your art. They're not going to look. Like, the only reason why you would see my hands in my artwork is because I do a lot of art where the hands are outstretched towards the camera. Same with the feet. Like, I use a lot of perspective, so my hands are actually coming close. So, like, if I wanted to, I could get away with not having to really show them off. It's just I learned how to do them, so I'm super proud of it. So I always try to incorporate hands into my work. I need a sippy sip. And another thing I could probably teach you guys is like perspective too. I mean, I'll have to go a little bit more in depth on that, because that actually took me longer than what hands did. Like, unbelievable, like much longer than what hands did. Oh. That came out janky. Fix that thumb a little bit. And also, when you're working really roughly, like what I'm doing, it's really simple to just figure out what you're going for. Like, it's really simple to figure out what you're going for. Like, if I'm doing a hand that I want to, like, just kind of rest a little bit, I will just do simple. I will just do simple shapes, and then I will add in the detail later. And if I don't like it, I'll change it. Just something simple like that. And see, like, that looks actually pretty decent, and it's not even that much work to go into it. Super quick. That's a super quick hand tutorial.